Rebecca Lynn is the president of the Pope Agency located in Atlanta, Georgia. The Pope Agency specializes in coaching, premarital and marital counseling, and matchmaking. As a certified relationship coach and matchmaker, Rebecca Lynn believes that attracting love starts with loving yourself and God. At the foundation of the agency is the mission to help people heal in order to be ready for love. Countless singles have got unstuck and attracted true love by using her guided steps. In her experience, she has discovered that many women have not adapted a modern mentality for dating and are often left feeling frustrated with dating. Her new book offers real, raw, and uncut advice for the 21st century woman. Rebecca Lynn Pope, welcome to Premae Magazine issue 6. Thank you so much for your time. This is absolutely incredible. I love everything about this. And when Hallie got in touch, we were just like jumping at this, like, oh my God, she's a life coach, matchmaker, author, woman of God. I'm just going to kick straight off. I mean, talk to us about your history. So when did this sort of vocation for writing and life coaching come from?
Well, I was coaching for years. First of all, my background is in ministry. I come from a family of ministers, and my husband is a minister and a pastor. So I'm kind of surrounded by ministry.
Sure.
Now, for me, I didn't want to be in ministry. Okay. I was running from that my whole life, and coaching felt like a balance between using my gifts and having a heart to help people, but yet not being in ministry.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yes,
right?
I get it.
And since then, so I started a coaching agency years and years ago that was centered around helping single people.
Sure.
And through that, I started writing courses.
Okay.
And that's where really my writing began, was I began writing life courses and life classes for my clients.
Fantastic. Okay, good. And then when you started writing these courses, were there like common themes that kept coming out for your clients that sort of, in a sense, made you realize that you're going to couple together the ministry and the matchmaking? Was there some obvious, clear disconnect? Talk to me about that.
Exactly.
Right.
All of my clients, I'm a coach. I'm just a coach.
Okay.
And all of my clients that I would meet be like, You're a minister. Wow, you pray with me. You encourage me. I feel so different. I have a lot of clients that say, Rebecca, I just see you or hear you and I start crying.
Oh,
like very healing.
Sure.
And so I began to realize that no matter what I call it, it's still ministry at the heart of what I do, because so much about being single and relationships is really about healing.
Right.
And self-awareness.
Sure.
So the greater you understand yourself, the more you heal, the closer you are to attracting love.
Wow. Of course. And it when you say it like that, it makes so much sense, because love is the eternal flame, isn't it? It's the eternal feeling, vibration, emotion that nourishes every part of our lives, whether it's being in love with the job or being in love with yourself, being in love with your family and the food you eat. If it's surrounded by love, then it grows and it's nurtured. And I guess people who don't understand that and make that connection are sort of in this everlasting pursuit of that self-love, which then opens the floodgates to every other part of their lives. And I guess that's where they need that guidance from you. Fantastic. So how long have you been coaching now?
I've been coaching for about 7 years.
Okay. Superb.
I'm a businesswoman. I've owned several companies before I got into coaching. I got into coaching and mentoring as a passion.
Okay.
And the next thing you know, one thing led to the next, to the next, to the next. And I'm like a full-time coach.
So 7 years of coaching, doing it on the side, but you're an entrepreneur at heart. You've ran businesses. What were those other businesses about?
I actually owned a construction company. It was the first business I ever owned. And because in the corporate world, I was in business and in construction. I come from a family that's been in construction for years.
Wow.
And I always just wanted to be a businesswoman. I had a business, a company that, remember the earthquake in Haiti?
Sure.
We supplied a lot of the building materials and steel that went down into Haiti for rebuilding after the earthquake.
Oh, wow.
So my company was very much influential in providing building materials when there's been a natural disaster. We would send materials into countries where there'd been natural disasters. So that was the company I owned when I started coaching, before I started coaching full time.
Okay.
And like I say now, everything I do now is full time as far as speaking and teaching and being an author.
Fantastic. Wow. What a transition from the construction. But I guess in a way, you're still applying that divine energy of helping. Because obviously you're selling materials, but like you say, the natural disasters, it seems like there's a theme in your life about being a person of service. Helping.
Yes. Serving and helping. That was the part of that business that I loved, but it wasn't enough.
No.
I wasn't fulfilled enough because I didn't feel like I was helping enough.
Sure.
So
whereas this is very one-to-one. Yeah. I get it. Now with the life coaching, it's very intimate and you're getting to really see the beneficiaries developing and growing through your nurturing. So I really dig that. That's really cool. Fantastic. And so I guess the golden question is, were you somebody that yourself was looking for love and was struggling in that arena in life? And tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, about your personal journey.
So when I began matchmaking people, it was kind of, once again, it just kind of happened very organically. My coaching clients were healing and they were doing wonderful, and then they're ready to start dating again. And I'd say, oh, I know someone. And, I would connect them and they would start dating. And it kind of happened very organically. And I found myself all of a sudden being a matchmaker very unintentionally. But yet I was still single.
Wow.
And so I'm connecting people, and I'm that agent in the middle of love and healing and connection, but yet I was still single and still trying to figure some things out on my own. And I mentioned it in my book that it was really my own self-discovery for figuring it out in my own life that helped me then to build programs and courses, and even in matching, to really help people get to why they are perpetually single.
Wow.
Why are they struggling with it so much? Because I used to be there, right?
Sure.
I learned what worked and then began to teach it to others.
Okay, wonderful. And so you are living proof of your own philosophy. You used your own tips and techniques to attract Mr. Pope. I assume that's his surname,
that's right?
Yeah. That's fantastic. Okay, that's lovely. I mean, that leads me on to this new book. So is this the first book that you've written?
It's the first published book I've written. I've written several manuals and courses, but the first actual published book, yes. Yes,
congratulations for that. Yay! And so it's called Love and Dating in the 21st Century. And with everything that's been going on in this century, it's been crazier than we could have ever imagined. Politically, socially, economically, there's been so much discovery and uncertainty. And so I guess, the traditional, means of dating that even say my parents in the 60s were doing.
That's right.
Right. To the 90s, to now the noughties.
Right.
It's just a completely different ballgame. I mean, I myself am a newlywed. I got married last year. And the way me and my husband connected.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it was like, we both put on our old school hats and were sort of emulating our parents to find that true love, because we tried other different things singly, separately, and it's like dating the same person because the same foolishness was showing up all the time, right?
Right.
So it's like, okay, with this book, what are some of the things that you're going to be looking at? Because I can see you've got 10 chapters: the fairy tale, dating and waiting, blessing blockers. There's different chapters here. If you could holistically give us a sort of outline of why should we go out and grab this if we're a singleton? What can we learn from this, Rebecca?
First of all, the book is very real. Okay. It's just because it's coming from a woman of faith and it's coming from a pastor's wife. Don't think that it's going to be dry or the same old, story. It's very real about what's going on, about situationships and the lack of commitment and casual sex. And why is it that very, very good women with very good hearts struggle the most with dating? That they don't want to talk to more than one man at a time. They tend to want to put all their eggs in one basket when they meet just one man. And it is because women do not want to date. They do not want to vet and qualify men for the position of being a husband. And that is the number one real hurdle that I find with women. They feel like, do I really have to do all this, Rebecca? Can I just meet him at the grocery store and we live happily ever after?
Right. So they don't want to do the work. Is that what it is? They don't want to do the work. Okay.
And the perception is that love is supposed to be easy.
Right.
However, love has never really been that easy. Sure. It's just the facade that we have as we look at our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents.
Wow.
So, it's more about being realistic. Understanding the differences in the gender roles is one of the biggest things that I talk about in the book as far as why things have become so difficult.
I see.
And it's because we as women have totally different roles than we used to have.
Sure.
And same with men. Very, different roles. And so everyone's trying to figure that out.
And so people having read this book, is there going to be a feeling of empowerment? Are there some secrets there that we haven't yet heard about? Is it going to be more of an aha, like, that's what's missing? What's the sort of sentiment?
I think that the way that I'm encouraging women to go about dating, that's the part that will be different than probably what they've heard before. Because what I'm explaining in the book is that if you want different results, you're going to have to do something different.
Sure.
And I truly believe that love is divine. Okay. It's from God.
Sure.
That's why everyone wants it. That's why it feels so magical and wonderful.
Sure.
And what I encourage people to do is to not leave God out of the process.
So even if they are not, because today's audience, I'd say, 1 in every third person I meet is an atheist because of God being seen as an unattainable. Where has God been in all of the natural and political social drama that's kicked off?
Yes.
And so a lot of people are sort of revering, like moving away from God. And I sometimes say, even to my clients, and I'm not a life coach, but a lot of life coaching does go on when I'm laying somebody down for a facial and we're having a talk and because you become very intimate with people. And I put together like a 50 ways that I found my husband, basically, in issue 2 of the magazine. And I did a couple of different things, like changing the music I was listening to and burning bridges with exes and not having discussions with them, and all of these little tips and tricks. And I just think to myself, But the one thing that was in it is that I literally did like a 7-day vigil and I prayed and I was like, look, God, whatever you see for me, I'm leaving it all in your hands. I'm completely surrendering. And then literally like 7 days later, I said to myself, if it takes 20 years, I'm good for it, because I don't want to keep doing these damaged relationships, right? 7 days later, I meet my husband, who's now my husband. But you're right. We spent...
Is actually in my book.
my God.
Surrender this to God.
To God.
Take your hands off of it.
Okay.
Give it to God.
Okay.
Because one of the things that's very difficult with women is we think we know it all.
Of course.
We think we have it all figured out.
Yes.
And he's got to be this, and he's got to be that, and oh, he must be 6'2", and oh, he must, drive this car, and oh, he must, and he can't have kids, and he has to have a bachelor's, and he has, we just have this all figured out in our head, and really we don't know anything.
Sure.
And because in the book I say, for every rule you create, God has an exception. Okay. And so as you're putting up all of these blocks, as you keep putting up all these requirements, that's how you're blocking your blessings. Because we're saying with our mouth and with our words, and this is, there's spiritual truths even for people who don't necessarily believe in God. Sure. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's spiritual truths. Sure. There's the way that the universe is made. And if you think a certain way and you speak a certain way, you tend to get more of that in return. Sure. And the laws of attraction, you don't even have to believe in God to believe in the laws of attraction.
Sure.
And so at the end of the day, what I believe is hindering so much love is that we've incorporated these laundry lists of things. And really, true love has nothing to do with that list of things that you think you have to have.
Okay.
And the man that God will have for you will actually be so many things that are not even on that list because you don't even know what to ask for.
Wow.
Because you've never had it before. So how can you ask for it?
That's interesting.
And that's, that's why I tell women all the time, in this area, surrender and allow God to do the choosing for you, and you'll be very, very happy with the results.
I think that's fantastic. I'm just looking at chapter 3 about technology and social media, because I'm sure that, Rebecca, 5 years ago, we didn't even have Instagram, okay? And you see what I mean? And so with all this sort of casual sex and dating and Tinders and Grinders and all these different apps, right? Waiting on God seems like for forever. You know what I mean? It's like, I want it now. I need my Uber. I need my, everything's so quick and so instant. And so does that chapter delve into how to maneuver the modern day tools that are supposed to be good for you and there for you, while sort of like the undercurrent of God? Would that be fair to say?
Well, definitely. What I encourage people to do is, first of all, this is not covered in the Bible, right? Okay. There's no Facebook in the Bible.
Sure.
You can't be living according to Proverbs 31. And we live in 2017, and that was, 2,000 years ago.
Sure.
So we have to be able to use the technology. I met my husband through Facebook.
Okay. And he's a minister.
Right.
Wow. That's cool.
He saw a picture of me.
That's cool.
On a friend's picture and said, "Who's that?" And connected, and the rest is history.
Wow.
So,
that's so encouraging. That is so encouraging, because there's going to be so many women who are going to be like, "Oh my God, I'm not for the reading of the Bible. I'm not for, this faith woman telling me about coming to church every minute to meet my prospective husband." And you're here talking about Facebook, like the most used app in the world, meeting your own husband. That is a revelation. That's fantastic.
So what's for you is for you, right. But be open to receive from anywhere. I women will say, "Oh no, I don't want a man messaging me on Facebook." And I'm like, you never know. I have hundreds and hundreds of women that have met their fiancés and husbands on Facebook, Instagram, direct message, online dating site, wow. You name it, even on LinkedIn, the professional
Yes, I know LinkedIn.
Sure.
Sure.
Wherever there's people, love will be
there. Wow. And do you truly believe, and I guess this might be a slightly controversial, that I hear a lot of sisters or women saying that because now with the LGBT influx, and it's now legal to be out and proud, which is fantastic, that there's actually for women a lot less men. And now I'm looking at the conclusion here that you're saying that God has a love story for you. Some women are feeling left out of that. Is that really true? Are we really do we all still have a soulmate out there for us?
Most definitely. There's multiple soulmates. Whichever path you go down, God will have a person for you down any path. He's an infinite God with infinite solutions and possibilities for you. Okay. And I just honestly believe that I don't care about numbers. I think what matters more at the end of the day is you're open for love. I think where some women back themselves into the single corner is by saying he has to be black, or he has to be this tall, or he has to be. Open yourself up. Love is love. It's no color. It's no height. It's no financial income. It's just love. It's just pure love. And so if you start to drill down into some of those numbers and remove some of those things that make it so limited, there's been LGBT, there's been gay men since the beginning of time.
Sure.
We know this goes back in history.
Yes.
There's always been men who could care less about us. That's just a fact.
Yes.
But there's plenty of men who are, and here's the other thing. What numbers don't take into account is, I said to one woman one year, she got so upset with me. I said, well, you never know. Your husband could be married right now. And God is preparing you because he's about to go through a divorce and he's going to be single again and he's going to be your husband. And she couldn't believe that I said that. Oh my God, you're speaking like you want someone to get divorced. I said, I didn't say that. What I said is that there's always a turnover of men coming in and out of the single population.
Wow.
And so you never know who your future spouse or partner is going to be. So you can't put limits on what God can do for you. What one woman didn't appreciate, the next woman will.
Wow. And vice versa, but yes. Wow. This is really inspirational. I wish I had this book years ago. Could have found my husband years ago.
That is the most predominant comment that I get from women about my book. They're like, I wish I had this book 10 years ago.
Yeah. And I guess your response could possibly be that, that growth transition is really important, because learning more about yourself through your 20s, early 30s, whatever, even if you're in your 50s, 60s and you're not married yet, that transitional life phases that you go through to learn more of yourself is just part of, in a sense, God's plan too, right? That could be part of the bigger picture as well. So the hurt and the pain and the suffering isn't always for no reason. There's always a purpose at the end of it all. Yeah.
It serves purpose.
It serves its purpose. Wow. So this is like the ultimate guide for modern marriage and self-love, empowerment, and just maybe rethinking. Yes, all the above. Thinking about, your place in the game of love, because it is a dance, isn't it? It is a game, and we have to be active participants. And I think what you said in the beginning was really important, that women are sitting down and they're sort of passive, like, I'm just going to be here and he needs to do this. And that is good, but you need to do a lot of work on yourself as well to be that right person to attract what you want, right?
Because one of the things I point out in the book is that women are lazy when it comes to dating. And that goes back to traditional, there's a diagram in my book, I think I can find it. There's a diagram in my book that's like a little table in the first chapter.
Okay.
That outlines the old versus the new. So it's giving an actual side-by-side comparison of how the old fairy tale, how things used to be versus how things are now.
Sure.
And the reason I did that is because I wanted to paint the picture right next to each other of how much things have changed. And if you look at that diagram, at that table, one of the things that sticks out very clearly is that up until an engagement and it was time to plan a wedding, it used to be the man had to do everything. He was doing the calling, the pursuing. He was planning the dates. He would have to court you. It was all up to the man to do everything until you practically got engaged and it was time to plan a wedding. The woman plans the wedding. Now you get married and all the woman's work begins in the marriage.
Sure.
So we have been preconditioned to think like, I really shouldn't have to do anything except be pretty. You know, he's supposed to initiate, he's supposed to pursue, he's supposed to plan everything, he's supposed to pay for everything, he's supposed to pick me up, he's supposed to take me out, he's supposed to keep calling me to show interest and keep the ball rolling. That's not the world.
It's kind of like last century, right? That's style.
Right.
Yeah, it's old school in that way.
It's old school.
It is, and
that's what women, they want old school.
They want old
but
school.
Yet we fought feminism. You know, we fought so hard for our rights. We have fought so hard to be treated as equals.
Sure.
Well, now we have it.
What you gonna do about it? It's so true.
We don't like it when it comes to men.
No.
We don't like
it's true. It's true. It's got to be a level playing field of equality in all aspects of the relationship. Otherwise, you're sort of lagging behind, or it's slightly like lopsided, and that's, I guess, where issues occur. Superb. Rebecca, this has been really, really beautiful. Thank you so much. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Where can we get this Bible, this book? Where can we get it?
The book, someone said this is their new dating Bible, is what someone called it.
Sure.
You can get this on Amazon.
Okay.
All over the world. On Amazon, just under Love and Dating in the 21st Century.
Cool.
It's
We'll have a link below.
Kindle,
so like,
the ebook.
Sure, we're gonna have a link in our magazine so that you can buy it directly. Sure. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. It's right there in Amazon, available around the world in both print and in the Kindle ebook.
Okay, fantastic. And then your social medias, just give us those, your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so people can find you, because I'm sure people are going to want you to be a matchmaker.
Really easy. I'm Rebecca Lynn Pope everywhere.
Everywhere. And that's Lynn with 2 N's, Pope. Rebecca Lynn Pope.
That's right.
Fabulous.
Rebecca Lynn Pope. P-O-P-E.
Smashing. Rebecca, thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely weekend. Week ahead.
You too.
You're so welcome. And we'll stay in touch with you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Take care.